I got nothing clever to say this time around. Cloud Island is a very interesting island in MSM's history, as its quality has been shifting in the public eye with pretty much every new monster added, whether it be for the better or for the worse. Every single time a monster gets sent here, its impact is huge. Because of this, it can be quite tedious to talk about this island, but to make sure no stone is unturned, I promise we'll cover every monster on this one. Like always, we gotta start with the bottom three, and what a better way to start off than the schlock that is Riedling. This one is laughably, infamously bad, with pretty much zero of the qualities that made Riedling a good monster in the first place. Riedling excels at playing a series of chorded notes in quick succession that add a bit of flair to a certain part of the song, or another monster's melody. On Cloud, it decides to yoink that idea out the window and instead takes melody for some reason. I don't think I have to explain why this is a bad idea, but just in case I'll reaffirm this. A recorder-styled flute like Riedling's is not a good melody instrument, as instead of sounding good, it comes off as shrill, loud, and harsh to the ear. Combo that with Riedling's missing a note again for some reason, and this monster becomes inexcusable. The concept that a monster whose sole purpose is to play an instrument is ruined by the implication that it can consistently miss notes. Like, who approved a purposeful sour note into a game where the entire thing is to be music? Sorry, Riedling's it really bugs me. Let's move on. Second place is a really weird choice to put in because on the surface it doesn't really feel like a monster that should be as bad as it is, but let me explain myself and you'll hopefully see what I'm saying. Dandy Doo does way more harm than good on Cloud Island, and I really don't understand why I don't see more people talk about it. First off, it's really sporadic and tone deaf compared to other Dandy Doos, to the point where I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was the voice actress's first attempt at the recording. Second issue is that it steals the transitional verse away from Willoughby, making the whole verse ring like a hollow filler part instead of a transitional track. Third, and the most egregious of them all, is that it does the biggest sin a monster could do in the concept of YSM, and that's steal the spotlight off of Octopus. Obviously I'm exaggerating, but it's still pretty bad, since Octopus on Cloud Island is, well, Octopus on Cloud Island. All that being said, this monster at least has the decency to at least play very little compared to the others, so that Octopus still has a little room to shine. It'd really suck if it, played sporadically through the song willy-nilly with no cadence or rhythmic into it. What's that? A vibrato what now? Oh, no! Incisor. I just hate you. Incisor is the worst monster in Dawn of Fire and one of the worst monsters in the entirety of MSM. It is up there with Magpie and Gobbledygourd sharing a paella talking about how to ruin more islands. Let me open by saying Incisor on Continent and Incisor on Cloud are not the same monster, and I actually like it on Continent since it adds a flair in the opening that adds to the childish lighthearted tone. That being said, adult Incisor is just awful. In fact, it's so awful that I simply can't put it into words, so here, let me show you. Look at this chart. This is a chart that explains what plays where on Cloud Island I got from the wiki, the official MSM wiki. I bring this up for two reasons. One, look at Incisor on this thing. Look at how erratic and whack its playing time is. Two, as of recording this, Cloud Island is the only island on the entire wiki that has this image, and I can only assume it's for one reason. Nobody wanted to put into words how awkward and random its note placements are, so they created an entirely new format to make it easier. This thing is easily the worst monster on the entirety of Cloud Island because it's actually not. I fooled you, plot twist. Dromedary is also the worst monster on this island for the exact same reasons. Dromedary is a penta-elemental. It is the second most elements a single monster could plausibly have, and this is its adult debut? I don't know why, but BB has released 2 penta-elementals, and both of them have had awful, awful adult track records. Dromedary also plays randomly throughout the song and with no interest or flair. Even its bass track just sounds like someone half-mindedly wailing out on taiko drums with no passion. And if you imagine to take the passion out of taiko drums, you've gone somewhere wrong. Together, these two completely destroy Cloud Island. The only way to tell when they're going to play in the song is to completely remember the song front to back, which could have been an interesting concept, but this is absolutely not the way to do it. That's it. I'm done. Moving on. Dishonorable mentions include the following monsters. Boskus is really weak on this island. Its track is almost anxious sounding, and it clashes hard against the generally upbeat and chill tone the island sets. Hangler would be great if it wasn't for two words: delay and reverb. Yeah, I know it's the point, it has two mics, blah blah, no. Now that Bone Island is a thing, I do not want to hear people use this excuse ever again. Pom Pom is just weird. This song is going for super vibey, almost ambient piece with most of its aspects, and then you have Pom Pom trying to get you to dance like it's a rave club. I just don't understand it. Shellbeat is way too much overkill for this style of song. Like Water Island, it completely eclipses the tone of the song was going in, and its job could have easily been done by Drumpler. Just saying. Okay, so the worst monsters on this island are pretty awful, right? This song is unredeemable, right? Haha, you fools. I said we'd talk about everything, and we haven't even talked about half the monsters. So clearly it isn't so black and white. Let's take a look at the best and see what this island has to offer. Third place is the original Dawn of Fire 4 elemental, Flummox. If there was a single monster that alone captured Cloud Island's feel the most, it would be Flummox. This thing is so chill and calming that I want it to sing me lullabies at night. Something not everyone may know is that Flummox was voiced by a different BBB member than everything else in the game. It was voiced by monster handler Pat, which is cool because he nailed it perfectly on his first ever monster. Unfortunately for Flummox, Pat has since retired from MSM to pursue his own dreams, and while I wish him luck in whatever he's up to now, it's a shame that this puts Flummox in the MSM Purgatory bin, since they can't really use it again without ruining its charm. It's a darn. I really would have liked to see this monster more, and I really like what it's shown us on Cloud. It has a lot of potential, but oh well. Second best on this island is one I alluded to earlier, Octopus. This is once more another instance where Octopus is one of the best melodic vocals in the entirety of MSM's history, and I can't help but be impressed by this monster constantly having hit after hit after hit with no end in sight. At this point, I've already talked to death about this monster, so I don't really know what else to add at this point. Its voice is an aged rasp, and it adds a lot to its personality. The melody itself is super solid and rhythmically interesting. It plays just long enough for not to overstay its welcome. It's comboing with everything perfectly. What more could you possibly want? I think it's safe to say at this point that Octopus is simply the single best vocal in the entire game. Which is a shame because it's constantly being overshadowed, but you know, the effort is still there. And I just gotta commend it every chance I get. So for number one, I gotta take you back a bit to what I kept saying throughout the video. This island is super chill, a vibe song that you kinda sway to instead of really focus on the nitty gritty for. In order for a song like this to work, you need to have two aspects down perfectly, and that's foundation and bass. For Cloud Island to work, you need to only have the bare essentials and still be satisfied with what you get. Luckily for the island, it has Woolby and Snazer, so those are met without question. Woolby is such a bloated monster. It has melodies, it has chords, it fills the air, and even has percussion elements with how hard its strings are hit. This monster alone could make the foundation for the entire song, but it lacks one thing, and that's satisfying bass. This is where Snazer comes in. Yes, he's just glorified castle bass and only really plays long notes, but man, people sleep on how much those long notes add. Once Snazer was added, it was impossible to go back. Seriously, take Snazer out of your Cloud Island and you just see what's missing. As a headphones user, this goes double for me, since that greasy sweet bass reverberates through my ears like God himself came down to give me a scalp massage. Together these two form an inseparable duo, a righteous pair that create the core fundamentals of what Cloud Island is, and that is why both get the number one spot. Honorable mentions include the following monsters: This is probably the best Tweedle has to offer, being a song that actually fits the aloof and carefree spirit that the monster carries with it. Usually Tweedle can get pretty annoying after a while, but this is one I always feel joyous while listening to. Pango is heavy slept on when it comes to Cloud Island. This thing adds so much to Octopus's verse and just adds another layer of rhythmic interest on top of Octopus's already rhythmically sound track. Zigrab is the perfect amount of percussion the song needs, just slightly harsh but still reined in kicks and crashes to complement the chorus of the song. Very good at what it does. Thrummel is such a good way to open the song. It is such a free-spirited sound that instantly tells you what kind of island you're about to listen to. Waddle's melody in the opening is very nice. It does its job, and it does it pretty well. Not much else to say really, it's a solid monster that does its job good. And Brett tried something different on Cloud, and while it took a bit to get used to, I can say confidently now, it was the right direction to take the monster. Its track here fits really well, and it's a humorous take on the lovable giant. Spoiler for upcoming content. Skip to this time to avoid them. Okay, good. Okay, good. Pizzicato strings have been known to be in the work for Cloud for a very long time now, and from what we've heard in MSM live shows, it sounds just to be another Tweedle Readling and Brett Melody tag-along, which is fine. It sounds good as is, but it isn't breaking any new ground. But still good. And that's Cloud Island. A very weird song with a ton of conflicting themes and feelings that leave it in a state of limbo for musical direction. Is it energetic or calm? Upbeat or somber? Well, we don't know, and the composers probably don't know either. It's a weird blend, and while I wish I could say it works, it doesn't. Cloud Island is a perplexing song that leaves me confused and frustrated because the pieces are so right there, but they were just not utilized in any interesting way. And whenever any pieces are put together, they were eventually covered up by something far worse. This leaves it as one of the weaker songs in MSM, and overall, I'd consider this a big miss on BBB's end. Nothing else to really say about Cloud Island, it's just mediocre. I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Oh crap, I forgot to talk about Alright, Cloud Island. Cloud Island. Realistically, it probably deserves bottom of D, but I really want to put it in C tier because I just like the idea of Cloud being in C. It's probably going to stay at the bottom of C. It's bad. It has Incisor. That's all I really have to say, right? We've all agreed on that. That's like a unspoken truth in MSM that Incisor ruined Cloud Island. Yeah, we're good? Alright, we good.